Okay, so just wanted to point out a very important Be'er Halacha that we missed yesterday. First of all, I made the PDF files on what we learned yesterday. Right, we were talking yesterday about mikva, and we were saying that they were battle the takana, and they said Jafal Kari Mutter B'divrei Koiro B'Kriya Shema B'Tfila B'Loi Tevila B'Loi Rechitza D'Tisha Kabin. Right, so Shulchan Aruch says they were mavatel. They nullified this enactment that a Baal Keri would is allowed to learn Torah, Shema, and daven even without tevilim, without rechitza of Tisha Kabin B'Chein Pashat HaMinog, and that's the minog. Now, it should be pointed out that the Gemara in the third paragraph says that on Chav Beis, if I'm not mistaken, Ma Ish in a makabel tumo after Torah in a makabel tumo, just like fire can't receive tumo, so too Torah. Mamilim came they were mavatel this tevila. A very choshev Be'er Halacha that we missed yesterday regarding Yom Kippur. It talks about the seriousness of being toivel on Yom Kippur. The Be'er Halacha in Tav Reish Vav that we ended with yesterday, the Be'er Halacha says, "I Mishnah Berurah v'Hainu Dafilu ha'anoshim she'eino ninzarin kol hashana b'tefila." Even those people who aren't careful to be tovel the entire year, al koponim, nevertheless, be'erev Yom HaKippurim sonich litvov v'los nakim mishum Yom HaKodesh. Nevertheless, on erev Yom Kippur, a person needs to be tovel. Sonich, a person needs to. And needs to be clean for the Yom HaKodesh, for the holy day. So this is a Be'er Halacha, black and white. Ink still wet on this. Nothing to talk about. End of discussion. Okay, so that's the Be'er Halacha. Now, was there an Oz V'Hadar? No. Okay, I had a mental note. Oh yeah, right over here. Okay, so the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Berurah over here on this. The Oz V'Hadar points out that some say the Mishnah Berurah said a pshat in this Tevila and Erev Yom Kippur is because of tshuva. Coming up to Yom Kippur, we might as well know what we're doing. So he says that this is like a ger hamisgayer shu ta'un Tevila mishum tshuva. It's mamish like we're converting, and a convert requires Tevila, and that's the extent of the tshuva. A person's mamish a new person. According to this, one should be tovel thrice. Can I get shalosh pamim shenemar mikva Yisrael b'pasuk? Corresponding to the 3 times that it says mikva Yisrael in the pasuk. That's one explanation. Another explanation is quoted over here in the footnote by the Shlah, B'Shem the Sefer Chasidim, who says that it's roi litol shalosh pamim keneged shalosh l'shonos chet avon pesha, like I said yesterday. You tovel thrice, corresponding to the 3 types of sin, chet avon pesha. So that's another explanation. Now, they say over here on their commentary, the Be'er Halacha that we just learned, that people rely on not being toveled the entire year. The siman peiches, which we just learned, that Bizman Hazeh, the takana of Ezra is batal, and therefore a Baal Keri is mutter b'divrei Torah Shema and tefila without tevila, v'afalod rechitza Tisha Kabin, even without Tisha Kabin. Al kopan b'yom Kippurim sarich l'tol inakim mitumas keri mishum Yom HaKodesh. Okay, so you have to do it on erev Yom Kippur. Now there's a tour. I'm pretty sure we oh yeah, made a PDF over here. The tour, and this is the tour in hilchos Yom Kippur. He says Nahagu litvo be'er Yom Kippurim, etc., etc. Then he continues and he says that idno ein lanu tahara. Nowadays, the keva and shein bali keren talking kol l'shana in chayv l'tevila zov ein levarach. This tevila isn't a full-fledged obligation, and therefore we don't recite a brach on it. The minhag became that we should make ourselves tahor through via the tevila on the erev Yom Kippur. For some call a medrash, we rely on a medrash that says we want to be like malachim, which are completely clean on Yom Kippur. Okay, so now this dimyon, this comparison between that we're equating ourselves to Malachim and Yom Kippur, this is a well-known idea, and in the footnote they just go into some of the ideas that we already know over here. That the Vilna Gaon says that Malachim are clean from sin, so too we are. We want to be like Malachim as possible as we could, and then that's why there's a minhag to wear white clothing, aka the kitzur. the kittel. That's where it comes from, and that's why there's a minhag to stand on our feet like malachim the entire day. Some are makbid even on Yom Kippur to stand on their feet the entire day like malachim, and that's why there's a minhag. We usually say Baruch Shem Kibbutz Malchusa Lamved Silently Gemara Psachim Nun Gimel, if I'm not mistaken. Based on the story over there. Over here, we say it in a loud voice like malachim. So we do a lot of different differences to compare ourselves to malachim. Okay, so that is the Indian over here in regards to malachim and in regards to hilchos Yom Kippur and Tevilah, that you have different minhagim. So I just wanted to clarify that from yesterday. Okay. Now let's finish with Harfenes' tshuvas, and I'd like to then finish his tshuva today. And then we're gonna finish his tshuva today, and then we're gonna go through the word doc on the summary of the whole siman, and then we're gonna move on to the next siman.
What would be the reason to wear white on Rosh Hashanah? Like, wear a kittel on Rosh Hashanah?
I think some of them in I'm not sure why though. I have to wait till we learn those halachas. Okay. So yesterday we left off in the tshuva at the end over here about being in the house while woman's lighting. So let's just get a brief recap on that so we don't just jump right in. So that there's a concept of being around when your wife lights the Ner Shabbos. Right. And l'chayra, it's not good for a person. It's not good for a person to go to shul early, because Chazal say you have to say hadlik was in air, light the air, and if you're in shul, then you really can't do that, and you do that to prevent them from violating Shabbos. Okay, so the Magen Avraham says minhag to send children back home to remind them. Okay, you have to do it or get a shliach to do it. Right? This is what comes from davening mincha gedol. You daven earlier, so you don't need to rush out. And you have ample time to warn your wife to light the ner. Right? So he says, Sarach Ian, in a place where we daven mincha before shkia. Right? So if you're going to daven right before shkia, you might not have time to do that. So exactly how to go about that. He's going to come back to that more in the continuation of this tshuva, as we'll see. And it's not enough to tell them to light and then go to shul. You can't just tell them, because maybe they're not going to light immediately, and before you know it, they get caught up with something. You have to be there until they light. Right? Once you know that that your wife already lit, so then you can go to shul, even if you don't see it with your eyes. Sometimes you just know. However, the Sefer Torah Shabbos he argues on this idea. So you have a machlokes over here. That was the Taz who says that you need to see, but the Torah Shabbos he argues, and he said no. The Taz says you don't need to see. The Torah Shabbos says you actually need to see with your own eyes. It has to be a visible situation. However, Rav Harfenes says no. It's not. That's not pshat. You don't need to see like the Taz. Not pshat like the Torah Shabbos. Hamachmir tavalo bracha. If you machmir, so then the bracha should come upon you. Now, the Sefer Torah Shabbos himself writes, we don't find in any posik that that the husband or other people need to stand by the wife when she's lighting. Okay, so we don't find such a thing. However, if you see that she's starting to light the ner, right, you could leave. So again, what's it saying on the bottom? It's saying on the bottom that we don't find anyone that says that you need to be there. Yeah, you have to hover over. Right, exactly. You have to hover over. Correct. So he says, however, if you see that she started to light the first ner, you could leave. Because you don't need to wait there for the rest of the halacha. Most women are makbid when they light. They don't start lighting and then they do something else and then they come back. No. Once they start lighting the first light, first ner, they wrap it up. They do the whole thing. It's a process. Right? It could very well be that it's enough if you see her taking the match already. Once she's taking the match, you know she's already in the sugi of lighting. She's involved. So the derech is that the norm is that she's going to continue to light. So he says, Sarchi and Gotten, Mashakasa Besefer Zichri Teres Moshe. It says in the Sefer Zichri Teres Moshe and Iskalel, Shalelus Leves Aknes that she had the Kola Neros. So it says, Sarchi on the Sefer Zichri Teres Moshe says that you need to light all the Neros. L'chayr, you don't need to light all the Neros over here, right? You, as long as you see her light one Nero, even take the matches, it will be enough. Why? Because the logic is being that she's going to complete that. However, look at the Sefer Lakuti Maharich, who says that the custom is that the husband does not leave the house until the lighting continues. Right? So seems like the whole lighting. So you have a discussion if you have to see the whole lighting or not. Just you don't need to. Makes sense. Case near that few lacher shehadlika ishtoi haneiros ein lo lazov sabayis achir shegam shar kobnei abayis hefsikul matzo shumalach. Wow, a few lusar Shabbos full up imachkos magan avam. Within she has herem hefsikul matzos malachos period just kobnei base. So it could be that even after she lights, it's still better to stay at your house. Because as long as other people are still doing malacha, let's say you have boys in the house and they weren't makabel Shabbos with their lighting, so then you should make sure that they're not doing malacha. Now, really, that's a whole discussion in and of itself. Not for now, but if you have some people that accepted Shabbos in the house and some people that didn't, especially in the summer, it's very prevalent. One person's doing malacha, the other isn't. Fine. So now he says, yeah, Yesh Lion, Lafima Dekai Malon. So now we hold in Shulchan Aruch Siman Reish Samachalav as well as in Siman Shin Zayin. No, it's our friend Siman right after. So he says over here, Shalo Gozru Al Shvos Bebein Hashmash. So there's a concept that they weren't gozer on a Shvos Bein Hashmash, which means that if you want to tell someone who didn't accept Shabbos, or someone who isn't Jewish, to do something that you're not allowed to do on Shabbos, and you already accepted Shabbos, you're allowed to do that in between Shkia and Tzitz Chavim and Erev Shabbos. So now it comes out that the other members of your house, besides for the wife who already led, even if it's after Shkia, they're allowed to do malachas derabanan l'sorich Shabbos, l'sorich mitzvah. That's a pasha after Shkia. Okay, but I feel mishagiz my bin shos time with taras malachas derabanan l'sorich Shabbos. Well, then mir la'akam's mutter. That's the pshat. Or you could tell a Jew to do, or you could tell someone not Jewish to do something. Melvad ha'isha she'adliku neiro Shabbos. The kiblo Shabbos be'alaka she'asura af b'shavusim. Besides for a woman who already lit near Shabbos and accepted Shabbos herself when she lit, so she's not allowed to do something. You have to remain in your house to make sure that to warn them that they should stop telling someone to do something once Siddur Kol Yaakov comes. For sure not. Sure, you don't need to remain in your house for that. Oh, this is the shaila. Shalom. So Sarach Ian, you have to look into it. Somebody wants to drive to shul. It's far from his house. It's a burden for him to walk by feet. If he's going to remain in his house until the time of halakha, you can't get there before the time. You won't be able to get there. Mahu imroitze shekfar kol chavsi habayis besudo v'hanerus mukanim v'ishto su eno teruda b'tirdos habayis yacholu lahakdim lismo shetadlik bezman. So what's the din over here, right? So what's the din if he wants to drive to shul, and if he's going to remain in the house when she's lighting? So now he's not going to be able to drive to shul. So let's say he already saw everything was in order in his house. The neiros are already prepared, right? And his wife, she's not involved with burdens in the house, right? She's not involved. She's not preoccupied. Everything's already ready for Shabbos, nice and on time. So then he could just he could just say he could assume the best that she's going to light in the proper zman.
By the way, I'll tell you very interesting.
Yeah.
So the early Shabbos then, or
Yeah.
to your wife.
Yes.
Before Shabbos,
That's good.
you're not home for that.
Right, so that would be subject to this and to one more thing that we're about to see. Right, to one more thing. So the chalah is like in Morocco, where they have this loud noise that's made when the horn, when Shabbos comes. Could that be enough to rely on that she'll remember the light in the proper time and stop with the malachos? So sorry on that one. In Rayeshu Sorach La Moed Benoicho B'Shas Hadlaka. Even though we said the husband has to be in the house when she's going to be lighting the nair, he doesn't need to be there during the whole havaka, right? He doesn't need to be there during the whole time. Mamish looking up, but some are even careful to be there during the entire time. So he says, it says in the Eichel of someone who knows that his wife is very careful, right? And there's a set time that she's going to remember not to delay the halakha. So she doesn't need to be careful. If you know that your wife is always careful to light on time, you don't even need to worry about this because you know that she's going to be careful. Okay? Then he says to conclude this tshuva, chalos lekavod Shabbos. If you're going to be having your wife's going to be making chalah at home, and it's the shear that's going to be chayiv and chalah. You have to fulfill what it says in Siv Beis. You have to say, did you separate chalah? If that's going to be happening. Okay, this is actually very interesting. Maybe make it then you can be potter eriv Shabbos or nezikin. If you were rushed, that's an interesting tshuva. So we wouldn't, but okay. So that's Rav Harfenes' tshuva. So now let's go through the entire document as a full chazara, and I want to do a chazara on Siv Beis, and then we're going to move on to the next siman. Okay, so this siman is broken down as we know into three things: showering, cutting nails, bathing before Shabbos. Mikvah came up as a tangent. Showering and bathing. Showering, bathing. Intro. Torah relates there's a mitzvah for everyone to shower or bathe Erev Shabbos in honor of Shabbos. If it's impossible to bathe one's entire body, you should wash his face, hands, and feet with hot water. The source of this is the Gemara in Shabbos. Gemara in Shabbos Chafei. Aruch Moshe Kotzor is a rule who says that there's a mitzvah to bathe on Erev Shabbos. Someone who does so will receive reward. However, if he doesn't do so, he will not be punished. What about washing with hot water? We saw that the Be'er Halacha says someone only has minimal hot water. He should wash his face, hands, and then last his feet. It's important nowadays. Mishnah Berurah says if someone has minimal time to shower, so he should wash his face, hands, and feet. Kappa Chaim says for Kabbalistic reasons, one should wash with hot water, even in the summer. Otzar Halacha says someone should wash with the hottest water he could possibly handle. Regarding that, Pesach HaTavir says that you should wash with the hottest water you can handle, even in the summer. Charles Achuva's Divrei Shalom rules: someone who can't wash with hot water because he's sick or the like should minimally wash some of his body parts with hot water. He can use lukewarm water for the rest of his body. So you see that hot water is very chashuv. One, there's two main reasons. One is for Kabbalistic reasons. Two is practically it removes the dirt from your body. A woman obligated to shower on Shabbos. Mishnah Berurah rules that women are also obligated to bathe themselves at Erev Shabbos. The chiddush is that even though it's a time-bound mitzvah, nevertheless they're obligated in the mitzvah of Shabbos like men in this Achana Shabbos, maybe it's Tasha Shabbos. Very interesting idea. When should we shower? The Shulchan Giburim says that one should put his clothing on immediately after a shower on Erev Shabbos and Yuntif. That's going to come up in siman Reish Shamach Beis, which that siman is on deck. So the idea is that you want to put on your Shabbos clothing immediately after your Shabbos. So according to that, you want to shower close to the time of Shabbos. Even so, one must be careful not to wait too late to shower. Mishnah Berurah explains with great detail that one needs to be careful not to be machal Shabbos by showering too close to Shabbos. This is all the Mishnah Berurah and siman Reish Shamach. Because of all the reasons, even if you finish your shower before Shabbos, the Mishnah Berurah talks about when you comb your hair, there could be other isurim, da'oraisa, drying on the towel, etc. So you need to be careful. Aruch Hashulchan rules that it's best to shower after chatzos, so it will be more nikar recognizable that the shower is being done lekavod Shabbos as opposed to before chatzos. Rav Harfenes rules that one could fulfill his obligation of his eriv Shabbos shower by showering in the morning. So you could shower in the morning. However, it's preferable to Shabbos to shower closer to Shabbos. Okay, to shower closer to Shabbos. Good.
Okay, so let's say we know that in the month there, he goes.
Okay, so someone who takes a shower Friday morning should now. I just want to point out before we continue with this. This is Rav Harfenes, since he writes in a few tshuvas that really Hachana Shabbos you could do anytime. Not like the Aruch Hashulchan who seems to say that it's better after chatzos. However, the exception is the shower. That when it comes to a shower, for numerous reasons, which we're about to explain, the shower should be done after chatzos on erev Shabbos. So whenever chatzos is, I think the earliest chatzos gets is around 12:15. So someone who takes a shower Friday morning, so he should maybe 12 o'clock actually. Sometimes chatzos gets around 12, even a little bit before 12. So someone who takes a shower Friday morning, he should rewash his face, hands, and feet closer to Shabbos, because Medina the Gemara, as we learn, Panav Yad Raglav is the Iker. Another reason why it's better to shower near the time of Shabbos is in order to put on Shabbos clothing immediately after the shower, as the Ramah states, as we saw the Darchei Moshe, same exact Ramah. This is the Ramah who writes it in Siman Reish Samach Beis. Additionally, someone who showers Friday earlier in the day might get dirty or sweaty before Shabbos. Okay, so this is another reason to do that. Now, some people delay showering and going to the mikvah until right before Shabbos, claiming that they're doing this for Kabbalistic reasons. These people are mistaken, and one should rebuke them, right? Because if you're going to be going too close to Shabbos, then it's a problem. Aruch Hashulchan talks about this and knows Vav Mishnah Brew at the end of Siman Reish Samach Beis also rips this practice. He doesn't like it. Even if someone showered earlier on Friday, he should minimally rewash his face and hands closer to Shabbos. This especially applies if after his first shower it became dirty again. So that's another reason to clarify Shabbos, so you don't become dirty, getting sweaty. In summary, one should close to Shabbos. However, this can't be too close to Shabbos. What about washing our feet nowadays? Mr. Brewer points out that nowadays we are not as careful to wash our feet because we don't walk around barefoot anymore. Do we need to wash our entire body? Rav Harfenes rules that it's a mitzvah to wash the entire body. However, one is not obligated to do so. However, if his entire body is dirty, then he's obligated to wash his entire body. Okay. What about using soap? Harfenes rules technically you don't need to use soap. According to Ben Yishchai, soap is needed for this shower erev Shabbos. Rishonim and Poskim simply mention the necessity to use soap. The reason why you don't need to use soap is because the hot water could technically clean instead of the soap, and soap isn't really brought down in the Gemara itself. But I suggest use soap. Miscellaneous, Mishnah Berurah rules that there's a mitzvah to shower erev Shabbos as well, erev Yuntif as well. Kapachayim quotes Mishnah Chasidim relates that one shouldn't have a goy bathe him. Okay. Kushani relates that tovening a mikvah that is hot is considered taking a hot shower. People who go on erev Shabbos to the ocean or pool need to shower again before Shabbos. One should comb his hair in honor of Shabbos. So a hot mikvah could be you could be yotzei your rechitza for Shabbos, and but an ocean or pool will not work. And combing your hair is a nice thing to do in honor of Shabbos or beard. Some say that one should verbally specify that he is showering in honor of Shabbos before he enters into the bathroom. You should say that that's the Otzar Allah is quoting the Makor Chaim and Achidah. Makor Chaim rules that one should comb his hair, here it is, and beard in honor of Shabbos, covered Shabbos, in order to remove the filth. Otzar Allah rules that one should brush his teeth in honor of Shabbos. Very interesting as well, brushing the teeth. So that is the discussion in regards to showers on erev Shabbos. When should one get a haircut? Okay. So Bach says that there's a mitzvah to get a haircut, erev Shabbos and Yuntif, even during the morning. Okay, there's a mitzvah to get a haircut, erev Shabbos and Yuntif, even during the morning. However, if someone gets a haircut Thursday, then it's not recognizable that this is done in honor of Shabbos. However, if it's impossible to get a haircut erev Shabbos, then you can get a haircut on Thursday. The closer one gets the haircut to Shabbos, the better, because it's going to be more recognizable that it's being done in honor of Shabbos. Same idea that we just learned above. Rav Harfenes relates that preferably one should get his haircut on Friday itself, not Thursday night. Aruch Hashulchan rules that it's best to get a haircut after chatzos because it will be more recognizable that the haircut is being done lekavod Shabbos. Same Aruch Hashulchan l'shitaso, but again, Rav Harfenes doesn't understand this. This is the Rav Harfenes. The Poskim seem to say that Shabbos preparations, Chana Shabbos, could be done any time on erev Shabbos. Showering is an exception for many reasons, as we said above. Sweaty reason, likely get dirty again, etc. Clothing on after Shabbos, numerous reasons. Siddur Kol Yaakov says that one needs to cut his nails before chatzos, since that is the time before the holiness of Shabbos begins to grow. Seemingly, the same applies to our hair. Arizal was careful not to get a haircut or cut his nails after chatzos and eriv Shabbos. Someone who could only get a haircut eriv Shabbos before shacharis may do so. Machlokes, it seems like it's best to do it after chatzos when it comes to the haircut, but you do have this Arizal who says before. That's why it's not bolded, because I think Bapashtas it's more after chatzos. It's closer. That's why it's bolded. The halacha l'mais is bolded. How often should we get a haircut? Very applicable to know. Amazing stuff over here, which could easily be overlooked when someone's just learning the siman superficially and not thoroughly. Could easily miss this. Darchei Moshe quotes Arizal relates that there's a mitzvah to someone who has long hair that Darchei Moshe says to get a haircut Erev Shabbos and Yuntif. Long hair is underlined, keyword, long hair. What is long hair? Lavush says it is a mitzvah to cut one's hair Erev Shabbos if the hair is long. Same idea. So all in the footnotes. Writes that one should get a haircut once every 6 or 7 weeks. Zohar says that long hair increases din in the world. Also, halachos goes into this more. He relates a story in the footnote. Shabbos and Yuntif's Torah Lishma writes that one should get a haircut once every 30 days. What'd you say? Once every 30 days. Okay, and he brings a whole story about this. Right, here's a story. He demonstrates the seriousness of this. Someone who didn't cut his hair for a certain reason and the 30 days had passed, his hair is considered disgusting, and he shouldn't be chazan on Yom Kippur, especially when the Seder Avod is being said. Harsh. The Munkach Rebbe would have his hair cut once a month before Rosh Chodesh, as we learned.
7 weeks. That's pretty good.
Says not to cut your hair on Rosh Chodesh. Someone who gets a haircut during the week should have in mind that he's getting his hair cut in honor of Shabbos. So it should be done lekavod Shabbos. Rav Harfenes relates that becomes disgusting. This depends on the person and how fast his hair grows. When other people think that the hair looks disgusting, then we have to cut it. Rav Harfenes explains that the Yisod Avoda, who says that you have to cut your hair every 6 or 7 weeks, that's because that's when one's hair gets disgusting. Peli always says you should just cut your hair every Erev Shabbos in order that you won't cause bad to himself and hard judgments to rule over it. Big chumrah. Shulchan HaTahar says that you should minimally cut once every 3 weeks. Rav Harfenes says both these rulings are an extra stringency. Kozalbin says that it's disgusting to walk around with long hair. Miscellaneous, Magen Avraham quotes Rabbi Yehuda Chassid that says that in some places people don't get haircuts on Rosh Chodesh, even if it falls on Erev Shabbos. Rav Chaim Chassidim relates that one shouldn't have a guy cut his hair. One is cutting his hair, he should have in mind that he's fulfilling the mitzvah of keeping his payos, and also don't get your hair cut by a Kohen unless this is the Kohen's parnasa. One is to make sure to pay the barber that day b'yom motitin schar and have in mind that he's fulfilling the mitzvah b'yom motitin schar. You got to pay on time. Big problem. People who don't. Halachically. Kuchani relates that someone who didn't cut his hair on Erev Shabbos, for example, because of the illegal sentence on Shabbos, in which case he could be lean and get a haircut on Shabbos. Nevertheless, he is able to cut his hair on Motzei Shabbos. Very important chalah. If you couldn't cut it before Shabbos, you could cut it Motzei Shabbos. Rav Harfenes says that one shouldn't speak Torah while his hair is being cut. Reasons of Ruach Ra. Cutting nails before one cuts his nails. I don't know if we could do all this in 5 minutes.
Can you cut your hair and say?
What's your question?
Can you cut your hair on Sunday and say it's for Shabbos?
Again, we just saw above that, right? We just saw above. Excuse me.
I was just saying any day of the week. You know, we still go get hair.
Look, we just saw above over here. If someone gets a haircut, right? There's a mitzvah to get a haircut on Erev Shabbos Yuntif, right? However, if you got a haircut on Thursday, it's not recognizable. It's being done lekavod Shabbos. But if it's impossible to get a haircut on Erev Shabbos, then you could do it. Yeah, so then you could do it Thursday. The closer to Shabbos, the better. It's going to be more recognizable time on Erev Shabbos. That's what we just said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the.
So even,
Yeah.
even if you say on Thursday night, lekavod Shabbos, it's still not best, but
Correct.
it could be done.
Correct. It could be done if you can't do it every Shabbos. I just want to. We only have 4 minutes. I don't want to even start the cutting nails. I just want to review Sif Beis. because it kind of got overlooked just in the Mishnah Berurah. Sif Beis over here. Sif Beis says
It's not, well, it's being invented.
that when it's near the time of Shabbos, when it's near the time of Shabbos, you ask in a soft language, did you tithe to the meiser, set up the eriv, and did you separate chalah? And tell them light the candle. In a place if you don't give meiser, you don't need to say asartim. It can chutzlaris. Meisers only knowing in Arizal and chutzlaris bisman hazeh. It's not knowing. Even Arizal whole discussion. The Arizal, the Rabbanan, whole discussion of itself. Happens to be I'm learning now Yerushalmi and Truma, so it came up. Anyways, so you need to ask this. Now, you wait like before Shabbos, right? And you say it in a soft way so that they'll accept it from you, and you don't want to say it in an angry way. You don't want to get angry in your house, etc. Now, you can't do it after, so you ask now. Yud Beis in the Mishnah Berurah, in a place where they don't set up an eriv, chatzos, so then or eriv techumim, you don't need to say this, right? That's why you gimel. We don't say, "Did you separate chalah?" because we don't really do that nowadays. But if you are going to separate chalah, like we just saw, then you should do this, all right? And you're not asking a question, "Did you light the candle?" No, you're saying with a patach under the hay, flush and sivoid, light the candle, because that you could see with your own eyes. You should also tell someone Zok the Mishnah Berurah on your Dalid that they shouldn't be doing malachas anymore. And if you're in the base medrash or another place, you need to send someone if you're not home to tell them not to do it anymore. Okay, so it's Piskei Teshuvos brings a few ha'aros at the end of the siman in regards to what we just learned. Okay, he brings over here in the footnotes. Says the Kitzur Shlosh says it's a mitzvah. Sorry about that. It's a mitzvah to tell your wife to light the ner, even though that you know she's gonna light. And the Chassam Sofer, always before he went to shul, he would tell the Rebbitzin to light. Yeah. Make Shabbos. All right. Now, you have to be careful that your loss isn't greater than your gain. Right. What is going on? Footnote 111. V'hinei im ki lo ychayv liyois v'bayis zman zeh b'frad im yigram diptil toy man kar mishuga shezek khanashat zvoyke mitzvah chichli joyce ngam tamish gadugim dav yaham yishme kor you come and post chachon ya ishe. Okay, so now what he's talking about over here is maybe you want to go to shul earlier to learn base medrash, right? It could be bittul Torah by staying at home. So he says that might not be a good thing, because if you can't get order in the house with all the kids and with all the preparations for Shabbos without you, then you should be in the house to help out and to make sure that Shabbos starts on time. And therefore, you should assist in order not to come to hilchos Shabbos and to enter Shabbos peacefully. This is something I myself am going to try to work on more with all of our kids, and should try to get ahead of the game so that we're ready even 15 minutes before Shabbos. It changes your whole Shabbos. If you're ready ahead of Shabbos and you go in a peaceful way, it just enhances the whole Shabbos. Right? And this is a deeper idea behind the idea of being in your house, like we were just learning. When your wife's lighting, he says over here in the footnotes, you want to be Mazaris, your wife, Kinashim Atzlani, he's saying. And sometimes through the showering, through putting on the clothing, the fake up, etc., they delay the nair. So you got to be careful with that, and therefore we have to think twice about that. So that's the Indian. Okay.
All right.
So Amir Hashem, tomorrow we're going to be mamshech with the cutting the nails, and then we're going to start the new siman. Everyone should have a wonderful day.
Have a good day.
No, so.